rivalries, new battles. Global Champions League, bringing together top riders from different countries in power-packed teams. Delivering electrifying sport at 17 events worldwide. Capturing emotion, drama, and every moment of heartfelt action. Featuring 19 teams of the world's best riders, competing with rising young talent in this unique championship format. Strategy and tactics count like never before in a season-long sporting battle for championship glory. Only the best 16 teams progress to the GCL Super Cup of the new GC Prague playoffs. This is the ultimate showdown in team showdown.
Well, hello and welcome to London for another fantastic day ahead. It is Sunday, it is the final day of competition, and just a little reflection there in some of those shots of what a super Saturday it was here once again in the British capital. The 13th stage of the Longines Global Champions Tour and Global Champions League, and it delivered once again. The London Knights were the winners in terms of the team competition. It came right down to the wire. Ben Mayer's round, the one securing the win there alongside his teammates Nicola and Philip Hart's. Two brilliant clears from those two to round off the day for the teams, but the battle was not done. It was then into the Grand Prix. Ben Mayer featuring in there again, but alongside several other British names and a few from the rest of the world as well, from Germany to Sweden and much more besides. But it created a great tale, a great story of a competition, and we'll talk about that in just a moment's time. So let's have a look at how that all came out at the end. It was a British finish that took us right to the very end here at the Royal Hospital Chelsea, and it was a sensational win for Scott Brash. And hello, Mr. President, raising his arms. You can see the emotion, elation from Scott, adding another win. Third time he's actually won here in London. Fourth time there's been a British win in the capital here for this leg of the Longines Global Champions Tour, but it's one that's been certainly relished all the way. And Scott adding an 11th Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix to his total, taking past anyone else so far. Rolf makes 110, most of those on Casal, but Scott bypassing that to get to the 11 mark on his own at this point. But what a finish. Ludger Beerbaum finishing on the podium there, finishing in third place. A real battle between the legends there. Ludger, who qualifies for the Longines Global Champions Tour Super Grand Prix, that man's already in it with Peter Fredriksson finishing in second there, but he was the winner in Cannes this season, so booked his place into Prague in December. And a man who's twice booked his place into that final is Scott Brash, who yesterday proudly standing on the top step there as the British national anthem played out to complete his wonderful afternoon in the sunshine. Packed stands, and once again it was full of magic and emotion. James Fisher alongside me. We were looking at all of that yesterday firsthand, and it was one definitely that stirred you up.
It was great stuff, really, for Scott. We're so used to him really coming into these sort of Grand Prix, really last to go in that sort of position of advantage to know what the others do. He only just squeaked in at 35th, so going in was definitely a sort of not new to him, but with this 9-year-old horse as well, so it was all to play for, really. And what a fantastic, the first round, I mean, it was absolutely sharp and in the air, and not showing really that that horse is only 9. It was really something special.
We'll have a look at that round in a moment's time, because we can have a look at closer look around a few of the rounds we're going to analyse in our coming piece. But there we can see Scott Brash. But how does it affect the overall championship for the Longines Global Champions Tour, because going into this London stage, it was Ben Mayer leading the way in the championship. Now, with him into the jump-off once again, he's consistently been there throughout the season, and that's what it's all about as being a champion of the Longines Global Champions Tour. He keeps himself up there once again. But Scott Brash putting himself up the placings as well. He put himself up from 12th place into 6th after the overall rankings after London. So he made another move up. Scott, who's won the championship on 2 occasions, well, he's just moving up there in the top group once again. Will he hover there? We will see. But Harry Smolders, Edwina Thops-Alexander, Ben Mayer, all in that group. But you mentioned that first round of Scots yesterday. Now, let's just put that in context, because yesterday they qualify through the first big speed competition, to keep it simple. So the best 35 scores coming through. Now, Scott actually in that competition had 2 down, had 8 faults, and but put a good time in, got himself into the qualifying as 35th in qualifying, got in as that last place, but then had to take advantage of it. Let's have a look at Scott's first round here from the Grand Prix yesterday, because as James said, it was one pretty sensational in this wonderful setting of the Royal Hospital. But here, James, just talk us through this a little bit.
Well, speed is what has really been the great thing here with Scott, and hello, Mr. President, because he qualified through being fast, and although he had 2 down, the horse jumped really well, just hung a little bit over a couple of fences through being careful, not through being careless. And here, Scott really had this horse charged up. This was a difficult oxer, big oxer, into the LED screen. And it's 160 double. Actually 3 strides there into the double.
But you can see the pace he had on it all the time.
Yes, and that's the key. He rides a lot of his horses like this. But one before on Hello Forever, it's the same thing. He really does drive to the fences in such a positive way. There's no doubt, absolutely, that this horse is going to go and jump and get in the air.
But the way he came out yesterday, as you say, he was coming for the worst of draws, but he came out with, especially with this round, that you can see that feeling of, bang, let's get ourselves back in there. Yeah,
absolutely. And when they're only 9 years old, you know you've got a task ahead of you, because you're a little bit in the unknown when it's 160 triple combination. This is the last line, a little bit forward on the 6 strides. You can see Scott anchoring the horse and really making it punch in the air, and looking at it again, it looked perhaps easier than what it was, but he really did do a spectacular round, and we knew he was going to come in first, and he would like to have been last in the jump off, really. Yep. But sometimes first can be an advantage.
Well, it was in the end, the way he played out. Now let's take a look at a few of the other rounds that featured yesterday in the full round, because we see how it affects the championship. There we go. Let's just take a look back at that championship. Ben Mayer leading it, as I mentioned at the moment. Harry Smolders, we're going to take a look at his round in just a second, because he sits 2nd in the championship at the moment. He's the holder of the Longines Global Champions Tour title. Won it last year. Edwina Thops-Alexander, she's been there twice and won that title. Scott Brash, as you can see, confirmed there, moving up to 6th place from 12th place yesterday. So that was a big move up the order for Scott, but still quite a bit to do for him. But Ben Mayer, the way his season's gone so far, it's hard to look past him.
Yes, winning in Saint-Tropez.
Yeah, Madrid as well.
And when he's not winning, he's in the shake-up. He's 2nd, 3rd. He's so consistent all the way through his string of horses. But he has to be, really, because there's only 36 points there between him and Harry, and now Scott's in there with only 73 points behind, so it's quite tight.
A little look at Harry's round here, Don VHPZ, and just missing out on a spot in that jump off. But again, this is another model of consistency.
Yes, it is, and he won in Hamburg with his horse. We know how consistent it is through his Nations Cup performances as well in Rotterdam, La Baule. He makes it look so easy. It's a different type of horse to Zinnias and Emerald, but you feel relaxed when you're watching it, and he just picks off the fences, and really a super round, just only a little mistake. But Harry is so consistent all the way with all his horses. And
you can see how that's going to keep him pushing all the time for that championship place, isn't it? That's how he put him in the championship last time around.
Yeah, the quality of horses in their stable, they've got winning mentality. Jos Verlooy is there with Igor. I think they both go in knowing or feeling that they can win the class, and you know, confidence and that mentality is so important at this level of jumping, because it's only margins really between these horses and riders, and he just cruised through the finish easily inside the time, and you know, you expect him to be there in the jump off, and almost a shock that he's not. You know, that's how good they are.
Absolutely, that's why he's the world #1 right now. So we're going to take another look at a different face, new face, who was with us yesterday in Harry Charles, the son of Peter Charles, the Olympic gold medalist. Now, Pete's here with us this week as well, of course. But Harry, this would be the biggest stage he's been on this so far. He's won the European individual gold medal in the young riders this year, but getting into the jump off here yesterday, this was his first round here, James. I mean, I know he's a rider you've watched quite a bit of.
Yeah, all the way through, really, from when Tara, Peter's wife, took them round with ponies, and all the way through they've lived and breathed this sport. And Harry's got such a great temperament for this sport, and with Peter, you know, waiting in the wings, they're always helping him. It is really great. But they put together a good string of horses with Vivaldi de Dom that he won the gold European young riders with, and this horse he hasn't ridden so much, and Peter really started this off, was third in the Sunshine Tour, but it looks like Harry's ridden this for a long time. It's quite a strong horse. Gave it a super ride all the way around here into the combination. You see, it's got quite a strong way about it all the time, and Harry's having to really work hard. But when a horse jumps with this much quality, you don't mind that. Look at that, the ease with which it jumped at 160 plank, and to the finish, it's got length. It gets across the fences, and that will give Harry that confidence of going in. You know, this is all new stuff to him at 160, and
I was going to say,
first Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix.
Emotionally, what that does for a 19-year-old yesterday. Yeah,
just wonderful. It's great to see him in there. You know, he's 19 years old. You know, I'm British, so look from that perspective, this is fantastic to see a combination like that at this level, and it looks like that horse is going to go on and just get better and better.
Absolutely. Well, one of them we're also going to focus on is Ben Mayer, lastly here. Now, this was in the jump-off. He was last to go in the jump-off. Scott Brash was the man that had gone in first, absolutely flown round there. Pressure is on Ben, and we know this is a fast horse.
Yes, and he took a stride out, actually, between the first two fences. He went on the 7 strides, and he had almost a better turn there than Scott did. Scott actually got a little bit dug in at that Oxer, but Scott was very quick there. But this horse, I think, is probably quicker over the top of the fences. It doesn't hang around, and Ben wanted to be very quick on his turn, and you see, just tried to turn as he took off, and a lot of time you get away with that. But the speed that he took this last on just gave him that edge on the time. Look at that. Was it 6?
It was very close.
Hundredths of a second quicker, so nearly but not quite. But what a great finish.
Absolutely, super finish, and a big fight between those two once again, in the friendliest of ways, of course. Now, we then finished with a battle between two, Peter Fredriksson and, of course, with Scott Brash. Let's have a little quick look at the head-to-head between the two of them, because it really did come on a knife edge in the end. But Scott, having gone first, had got that advantage in the end, hadn't he? Because he was just pushing that pressure on. Normally, the advantage would be going last.
Yes, he just went in there with that plan in his head. He went as quick as he could, but you see there he had to really hold up on the corner, where Petter was a little bit quicker around that side with Hansen. It's not got the same electricity as Scott's horse, but it's almost a bit smoother in the way it goes from one fence to the other, and you see here probably a stride out here as well. So he's taken less strides, but was getting beaten on the speed. And look at the speed Scott's going here. There was just almost a second in it in the end, and Petter, he didn't actually look at the screen. I thought he sort of felt that, well, he's done his best, but possibly felt that he wasn't as quick.
Absolutely. But anyway, all of it done. That's all in the history books. Great finish today. We've got super jumping coming up, haven't we already? Because we just saw a picture of Ben walking the course. Yeah,
the expectations are so high here. It's just great entertainment. It's a fantastic show, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, James, you're going to be heading up to the commentary box very shortly to have a little look at that one. We are going to be getting into our first class of the day. It's going to be a speedy one to start us off here in London, and our rider's just walking the course at the moment. So I think we're going to be just about ready to hand down to our team to have a look at the course here. So it is over, out in the sunshine, a wonderful wonderful Sunday afternoon. It is going to hand over to Jenny and Steve, of course, to have a look at the track. What have we got, boys and girls?
Well, I've just sprinted down here to find Stephen having walked it. Stephen, where are we going to start?
Well, I think it's a long way. I mean, there's not a lot of science attached to this, Jed, actually, because it's a right gallop up and down the arena several times. You really need a speed horse here, a proper speed horse, but it is a fastest clear round class. Number one is way up the top there, a very sloping oxer, which tempts them to go forward around the corner quite a long way, sort of 8 or 9 strides down to a water trade with a vertical over it, a fence 2. They've got to come just around fence 7 here. This is the third fence here, right in front of the grandstand, and a long way up the hill here. 46 of my steps for fence 4. A double of oxers, not over big, tend them to go in there at a fair old pace. Very square going in. If they're going too fast and too flat, they could very easily have the front rail off that. But up here, I mean, it's 8 or 9 strides. But, you know, to win this competition, they're going to have to gallop.
And this is a speed class.
Oh, yeah.
It's the final day here. So some of these riders are going to be looking to put some money in their back pockets.
Yep, and they're going to have to go pretty quick because I think it's a very competitive class. This opening class on the final day is always a real scorcher.
Yeah.
You know, the first day, the speed class there, the 2-phase, is a bit of a warm-up class, really. But this is all about business. You know, anybody that's got a horse here that's very quick, as you say, can win a few quid here today.
And it's a double of oxers. We've not really seen a double of oxers before. It's normally been an upright into an oxer or the other way around. Do you ride that any differently?
It's okay. I mean, it's a narrow oxer here coming out, not very wide. And, you know, it's very easy to have the back rail off that. Horses tend to jump it a bit like a vertical, but it's 2 strides. They've got time to adjust a little bit forward or back. This is the first of the difficult turns, if you like. They've got to find their way through here between the plank, which is the last fence, and this red fence, which is, I think, fence 8. But there's only one way to come here, really. That's between here. It's a very blind corner. They turn, and then it's quite a sizable oxer right in front of them on a curving line to a double of verticals going right towards the entrance.
That's quite misleading, isn't it? Because you've got the fence 5 here, which is almost the same colour as the ground.
Yep.
And then you almost expecting that fence to be in front of you, and it really isn't. It's
quite offset.
Yeah,
but actually
offset.
It's offset on the way that they've got to go. You know, this arena is nearly square, and Uli Vetsani, of course, one of the best course designers in the world, he's a bit forced to having them going up and down because it's as broad as it is long. It's difficult to build a course in a square arena.
Yeah, and how do you walk this? So how long are we going to go straight for
5.
before we
This
turn
is 5
for this?
around the corner. There's no point coming on the inside track, that side, and trying to go quick because they're going to be straight towards the entrance.
Yeah.
They want to jump that oxer a little bit there from right to left on the outside track here and jump this fence, the first part here right in the middle, and the second bit a little bit towards the right, land on the right lead going around that corner, land on the right leg, so they've only got to think about finding a stride to the next fence, and set them up, because off the corner here, again, it's a bit of a blind corner. They're going to come around this fence here, the third fence, to fence 7, and that's quite a wide oxer.
Yeah, this is the widest we've seen so far on the course, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. You know, they're not going to get inside that fence, obviously. They'll go just round that fence. It wouldn't be politic to do that anyway. They're better off to keep galloping and keep travelling.
Yeah.
Because that's quite big.
That is pretty big, and especially as this is a speed class,
you're
going to have to really set them up for that and maybe take a little bit of a pull.
It's a little bit out of character with the rest of the course so far. It'd be very easy to have that back rail pretty strong.
Can I just say, this is the first course where it's not obvious where we're going next.
It's up and down the arena.
Yeah.
I mean, it's half a mile to that. That's what in England, I can say that.
Yeah.
Half a mile to Pence 8 up here.
It
It's a
just
long,
seems
long
really,
way.
especially for a speed class, I feel like we're going kind of around the houses a little bit. Christian Romberg just here, part of the Hamburg Giants team. Christian, it's a speed class. What are you thinking of the course?
Yeah, for my horse, it's not the fastest course. I can't miss out that many strides. He has a huge canter and he's not the fastest mover, so I hope I can miss out some strides, like from this oxer to number 8 or to the last one.
So thinking about good lines rather than trying to go the fastest?
Yeah, I try to go good lines, take some strides out and try to go the fastest I can.
Well, you always do it with a smile on your face. Good luck.
Thanks you.
Thanks. So, yeah, exactly. If you haven't got the quickest horse, you've really got to walk this course and
yeah.
find that way you can make up time.
I think the truest thing that Christian said was, in this class, you just go as fast as you can, yeah, without flattening everything.
And this is deceptive
This
because
is
the
a little bit of
wings
It's
come
not
out.
big. It's not big at all,
No.
but it's a little bit inset inside these telephone boxes.
Yeah, because normally you're expecting the fence to be in the middle.
Exactly.
Whereas this is at the back, and that kind of maybe will be a bit of an illusion
it's just
for the
a
horse.
little bit different. They shouldn't have that fence down, but what they could do here, if they're not careful, fence 9 is over there. They're going to try to turn here and try and turn inside that finish there if they can, or just round it.
Yeah.
And they could just pull this off with their hind legs if they're not too careful. The trick is there, get that out of the way first and then turn.
Let's grab Shane Breen there, who's striding. Shane, you are a very fast man on your day. What are you thinking of this course?
I think I've been listening to Steve, and there's a couple of options there. I think it's going to be a real flyer. It'll be interesting to see how it pans out. There's a couple of tall fences in it. So we'll never know. You could end up going too fast and having a fence. A 50-50 clear round could get good money.
And the crowd will be wanting to know, is there a particular fence they need to keep their eye on that might cause a few problems?
Around to number 5 is a little bit blind, but up to the double of verticals will take a bit of jumping. I think the last fence, this plank here, listen, there's jumps all over the place they could have, but it's going to be a good class.
Well, let's see if you can get back on the podium. He was on the podium yesterday for Miami Celtics. Vendy Cruz today?
Yeah, in both classes.
Well, good luck, Shane. Thanks a lot. So coming round here to fence 9, it's so patriotic, this course, isn't it?
You know, you're going to have to come inside that finish there. It's as tight as they can get it here. To get to here, we're going to have to kick on. We've only got a minute left, Jen. Long way to fence 10, down the arena there. What do we say? 7 strides. It's just a nice 7, patient 7. They don't want to fly in 7 down there because it's going to throw them too much up the corner towards that Longines clock. They've got to turn just around the...
So we're going to cut across because we're going to run out of time.
We've got to cut across, yeah, we're running out of time.
So after fence 10, they're coming across the arena.
They're going to come just around the black and white fence there. They won't get inside there, I don't think.
Yeah.
And then they've got to jump this fence here, this oxer with the lamps on it, at fence 11. And then 12, a very skinny plank look, on a nasty angle. A flying stride all the way up to there. You know, they're going to be going some speed by the time they get there. I agree with Shane, this is a flyer.
It just seems like there's a lot of room between the fences.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
He really has spread them out today, you know, one in one end and one in the other, and he's done it 4 times.
And also, as I don't know if the camera can just swing around and see this fence, they are all dressed absolutely beautifully, aren't they?
They're lovely fences.
They make so much effort here on the tour to make sure the fences look beautiful. Wherever you are, whatever venue we've been to,
exactly.
They just look amazing.
Yeah.
But from a horse point of view, how much of that do they take in, Steve?
The more you can fill a fence in, the more it's got definition, and the more a horse tends to back off it. You know, so with all these banks of flowers and water trays under it, they get the horses in the air a little bit more. This is so well filled in, you can really ride at this course. It'd be a good class, this. I agree with Shane, it should be a flyer. Hopefully.
And someone like Shane, it should really suit, shouldn't it?
Yeah,
because
exactly,
he's a speed.
Exactly.
There's some amazing riders here today as well. There's so much to look forward to. Some fantastic horses, some of the best in the world. But we're going to go now to a break. But Steve, I'm really looking forward to this. It should be. I hope the crowds are going to start getting in their seats soon because it's going to be incredibly exciting.
It should be a very good class and a very good jump-off class to follow. You know, OK, the Grand Prix day was yesterday. That was fantastic. But this is always 2 good classes on the final day here.
Well, like the weather, things are going to be hotting up. So I hope you guys stay tuned for this class because it's going to be amazing. Yeah.
And then they've got to jump this fence here, this boxer with the lamps on it, fence 11, and then 12.